call the Board of Trustees regular meeting Monday, October 7th, 2019 at 6:30 to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of meeting agenda. Any additions or deletions, please?
Mr. Supervisor, I do have a matter with the consent agenda, just for future reference, because we created our public safety department. Items A and B after this meeting will be combined under one heading called public safety.
A and B?
A and B.
Okay.
And everything after that is just going to move up one spot.
Got it.
Why would it be A as sheriff's?
Sheriff's Department and Fire Department are covered under the public safety now.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
those would be, Mr. White would be responsible to report on those two items.
So that would be A, B, and C, wouldn't it?
I spoke to Jeff earlier today and he requested that the EMS remain a report on its own, but that the other two should be listed under public safety.
Okay. All right.
All right. Any other additions or deletions?
I make a motion we approve the meeting agenda with the understanding that Luann just brought up, that Sheriff's Department, or Sheriff's report and Fire Department report will be together from here on.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Clerk Candell. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 4, approval of minutes 9/3/2019, 10/2/2019.
Make a motion we approve the minutes of 9/3/2019 and 10/2/2019, barring any questions.
Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Trustee Gurley. Once again, any discussion? Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Public announcements. Any public announcements at this time?
Not that I'm making an announcement here, but what is the date, Michelle, the community dinner?
Community dinner will be November 22nd on Friday at New Haven High School.
Do we have a start time?
Thank you.
I believe it's 5:30.
Okay.
5:30. Everything
And
will
we'll-
be situated in another 2 weeks.
And we'll repeat this at the November meeting also.
Yeah.
Good. It's good to get that out early though. I appreciate it. Any other public announcements? Public comment. Any public comment? No public comment. Number 7, consent agenda. All items listed under this consent agenda are considered routine by the Township Board and will be enacted by one motion. According to established Township meeting rules, there will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the Board or public so requests at or prior to the meeting, in which event the chair of the meeting may remove such items from the consent agenda for discussion and consideration under agenda item number 8 below. Approval of the consent agenda shall be made by a majority roll call vote of those present and voting.
I have orders and bills on this agenda in the amount of $553,931.22.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda with the orders and bills amount totaling $553,931.22.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Gurley, supported by Treasurer Arnold. Other questions? Discussion? Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Gurley? Aye. Connell?
Aye.
Kendall?
Aye.
Clifford?
Aye.
Trombley?
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. No items removed from consent agenda. Number 9, unfinished business. Letter A, community room window covering proposal.
We have, I have no proposals to bring tonight. We went through three, I'm getting three bids. Obviously, I have one from Shear Shop, and I have one from the former owner of Richmond Interiors, Kathy Walker Thompson, and her company. I don't know the name of it yet, but it's Vertical Vix bowed out due to, I made 7 phone calls and they haven't called me back. And currently, we're waiting on, they're using the lift up at the EMS in Richmond, and they're waiting, Walker's company is, Thompson's company is waiting on the lift to get back so she can properly measure, and then she'll have a quote to us within a couple of days. So I'm gonna come in with 2. I mean, I've made phone calls to other companies too, and they just don't call me back. So it'll be from Shear Shop and this other company. The reader board sign proposal.
Well,
I'm
for
sorry.
the community room, you want to make a motion to table this at this time then?
Okay.
I'll second the motion to table the community room window covering proposal for this month.
All right, a motion by trustee Clifford, supported by clerk Kendall. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Then letter B, Township Reader Board sign proposal. Mr. Clifford.
Township reader board sign proposal that also, I only have two quotes. One of them is from Phillips. It's came in. Like this one here. I'm waiting. We need to have a meeting with Display Mix before they can properly finish their quote, because some issues on how we want the sign designed before he quotes it. So either we set up a workshop meeting or we meet with him individually and voice our opinions so we can give him an idea of what we want on it. I don't know if I need a workshop meeting to do that, or we can do that, just have him converse with us one-on-one. I'm looking for an answer there.
I would say whatever your pleasure is on that, as long as the board has no objections. Scott's been doing that, let him.
Well, yeah, but I know Kathy and Luann and everybody's had ideas about this, and I'd like everybody's input, because I don't want anybody feeling like they were left out. So, just a few things. Maybe I can have him come in someday and just meet with us one-on-one and voice our opinions, and instead of setting up a workshop meeting and taking your time, he's willing to come in anytime. He said he would, so. That's what I'll do. I'll set up a visit here sometime this week, hopefully, and we can talk about it one-on-one. With him.
Kathy is gone for the rest of the week. She'll be in beginning.
Oh, we can set it up for next week, Kath? Okay.
Yep. Please.
All right. I make a motion, we table Township Reader Board sign proposal until we get the quote in from the second company, and hope maybe at that time we can, well, I'm going to stop the quote or the thing for a minute, that we can get him and have a special meeting to decide on it so he can get started at least with the footings before the bad weather hits, whoever it is. So I make a motion, we table the Township Reader Board sign proposal for at least a month, or for no more than a month.
Okay.
A second.
Motion by trustee Clifford, supported by treasurer Arnold. Any other questions? Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Number 10, new business, dump truck tire purchase proposal. Good evening.
Good evening. Everybody should have a copy of a proposal in front of them. If you recall, during our budget process this year, we talked about replacing this vehicle, but unfortunately, the tires are worn so bad that I feel like it'd be unsafe during the winter conditions that we have coming. So I've put this proposal together. I've collected 5 quotes from 4 different locations, and I'm recommending the low bid to Bell Tire in the amount of $1,095.
Okay.
Cam, I noticed you have the one you're recommending the one from Chesterfield at 40,000 miles. That's the warranty on it. How many miles we put on that truck?
It's not the warranty, but the rating that the tire is giving. That's why it's a little bit cheaper. As I indicated, we're going to be replacing this truck, so I didn't feel the need to spend the extra money on the tires. We just need to get through this winter until we can get a replacement.
Any questions?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the tire purchase for the dump truck as recommended by the DPW Superintendent Cam for the amount of $1,095 to Bell Tire.
I second.
I have a motion by trustee Gurley, supported by trustee Clifford. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Letter B, Deer Creek Drain Maintenance Proposal.
This is really something we've been kind of quietly working on for the last couple of years. Since Commissioner Miller's taken office and taken control of the drain department, have started to take a proactive approach to cleaning some of these drains that have kind of basically gone neglected over a period of time. The gentleman that's in charge of this, we've been talking back and forth, and they just got done completing a project in the Chesterfield area on the Deer Creek. So it only makes sense to continue that work up into our area, and that's one of the reasons why we are recommending doing this project. The program that they have in effect is a matching program, so whatever we're willing to put up, they're willing to put up the same amount. In discussion with him, when I asked him from our start at 26 Mile Road going north, how far, if we were to go to 27, what would you feel would be our cost on that? And he said, well, it's about 30 days worth of work, given what we've been able to do in the past. If you were able to put up $10,000, we would do the same, and we could probably do that whole mile stretch.
I think this is a perfect use of that Chapter 20 drain money that we have
Absolutely.
set aside. So I would make a motion that we enter into an agreement on the Deer Creek drain maintenance with the drain office in the amount of $10,000 with the funds coming out of the Chapter 20 drain fund. I second.
I have a motion by Clerk Candle, supported by Treasurer Honnold. Any other questions, discussion?
I have none.
Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Kendall.
Aye.
Connell.
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
Clifford.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Letter C, recommended updates for land development ordinance 01-89, engineering and construction supplement, section 3, street and parking lot paving. Mr. Safe, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, board members. As discussed last month, these are the recommended section of the ordinance that relates to the updated standard for the parking lot and pavement sections. It reflects section 3 in the ordinance, subsection A, B1, 2, and D. And also we attach the recommended standard detail sheets to be adopted formally by the township, just like the water and sewer and the storm detail sheets. So the ordinance will go under this update. The standard detail sheet will be periodically updated as we go in parallel with the industry standards and updates. Both documents were reviewed by the attorney and the DPW and recommended for the board approval.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Safe?
I have none. I read it. I understand it.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the recommended changes to the street and parking lot paving section of the ordinance what is the number here? I'm sorry. 1-89, Section 3, as presented by the engineer.
I second.
We have a motion by Clerk Candell, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other discussion? Deputy Clerk, roll call please.
Kendall.
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
Clifford.
Aye.
Connell.
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir. Letter D, set public hearing for Lenox Township and City of Richmond Mutual Annexation and Detachment Forbearance Agreement.
Mr. Supervisor, I would like to suggest that we set a public hearing for the Lenox Township and City of Richmond Mutual Annexation and Detachment Forbearance Agreement for November's board meeting. We have 15 days that we need to have it published beforehand, so that's where it fits in best.
Okay.
The date of the meeting is November, I don't know, let me look.
That's prior to our regular board meeting.
That would be, right, it would be at the beginning of the board meeting.
Okay.
Of course.
During the board meeting or before?
November 4th. It would be the first part of the board meeting.
Okay.
Once we get past the consent agenda, then I believe that's where we usually hold public hearings.
Okay.
We'll have to hold the public hearing, and then we'll also have to pass a resolution that night so that the agreement can be signed and turned over to Richmond Township, or City of Richmond, I'm sorry.
I have a motion. Do I have support for that motion?
I'll support.
I have a motion by Clerk Candell, supported by Treasurer Arnold. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Letter E, CARE, Work-Life Solutions Employee Assistance Program.
Good evening. This is just an annual, the annual renewal. This price is the same.
Yep. Any questions regarding this?
It's the same as what we've had?
Yes, there hasn't been any increase. It goes according to how many employees you have.
Do we have any reports that show how many employees may have used this service last year?
I would have to look.
I just wondered if there's anything available that shows us that it's being used.
Right.
It usually shows use, but it doesn't disclose.
Right, and I don't want to, I wouldn't care to know who it was. I just wondered if there was something that showed us how many employees took advantage of this program.
I can tell you from past, it's always been used.
It varies. Some years it's one or two, and some years it's none. But we do have a set of classes that we can take here at the township for all the employees.
I just was curious, that's all.
I'll look it up and get with you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I make a motion, we approve the renewal of the CARE Work-Life Solutions Employee Assistance Program at the cost of $500.
A second.
Motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Treasurer Arnold. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Letter F, Code Enforcement Supervisor's Office Senior Center Employee Recommendation. This is a hire for 3 departments at total hours 30 per week at a starting pay of $12 per hour. And we'd like to have her start immediately. Interviewed by myself, Ms. Ventimiglia, Mr. Casson, and I believe Ms. Gandel.
I was there for one of them, yes.
Anybody have any questions?
There was one applicant interview. That's it.
We interviewed one applicant out of the applications we received.
Okay.
I guess the only question I have is the statement that the pay will increase when certified for senior exercise. Was it determined what that pay increase will be at that time?
No.
No. But usually whenever the senior coordinator gets certified for exercise, there is an increase. It varies as to how much, whatever the board
Yeah.
chooses.
Board determines.
And it would be for her
just like
senior-
we've done in the past.
Right, it would be for her senior pay, not the office
Yep.
pay.
So eventually what we're saying is she's going to be collecting two different pays.
Yes, because one is monthly and one is bi-weekly.
No, I think that if
Is
we're
it-
hiring her full-time, she would get paid bi-weekly just like everybody else. That
Yeah,
is
something-
a full-time employee, her wages would just have to be split between departments.
Okay, well, we can get that out, whatever.
Well, it's just all of our full-time employees are paid bi-weekly. 30 hours a week means she's full-time, so I
Right.
would think that she needs to be paid bi-weekly like everyone else,
Okay.
would be my,
Correct.
Yeah, and we know right off the bat that 13 hours of her week is going to be seniors, dedicated for the seniors, and the rest, the 17, would be for the office. So, okay.
that's fine, it's just when we do 30-hour week employees, we usually put them on bi-weekly, so.
And that would make her happy.
Yeah. No other questions, thank you.
Any other questions?
I make a motion, we approve Brandy Bridges for the Code Enforcement Supervisor's Office Senior Center Shared Employee as recommended by Township Supervisor Ron Conley.
I'll support that motion.
Was that you, Glenn?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Motion by trustee Clifford, supported by clerk Kendall. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Clerk's office, clerical employee recommendation.
We interviewed 4 candidates. We had one candidate that is a Lenox resident, and she did seem to be the one that the 3 of us who interviewed felt would fulfill the position best. So it is my recommendation at this point that we hire Wendy Costa to fill the position for the clerk's office clerical at a rate of $12 per hour for 30 hours a week.
And you feel comfortable with her, Glenn?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my recommendation, so I don't know that I can make that motion.
I will motion to approve the hiring of Wendy Costa for the clerk's office clerical position as recommended by Luann Candell at a rate of $12 per hour.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Hanold, supported by trustee Clifford. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Public comment, number 11. Mr. White. Evening, sir.
Good evening. So I had asked the supervisor before the meeting if I could make a quick comment at the end of this evening's meeting. Just to give folks an update because we've had a lot of questions about it. The EMS will be doing its drive-through flu shot program again at our station on 32 Mile Road. This year it'll be Thursday, October 17th from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. This works really great for really anybody can come through. You get your flu shot very, very quickly through this process, but it really works very, very well if people have older relatives or people with disabilities and it might be hard to get them in and out of the car, to get them in and out of the doctor's office or in and out of the pharmacy or whatever. They can come in. We literally give them we have them pull right into the station, so if they're out of the weather, we can get right in the car with them and actually give them the vaccine. Our paramedics are pretty comfortable working in those kind of environments, and so they do a great job with it. We also will be down here at the Township Hall on October the 23rd. Your senior director arranged for us to come in and do shots for the seniors that day. We certainly, as we have in every year past, will make them available to any township employees as well. And I spoke with Luann a little bit about that earlier today. And so all I asked was if we get a rough number of folks who might be wanting to get it that day, we just make sure we bring enough vaccine with us.
I sent out an email and I've started a list, so I'll be able to tell you.
So we'll get a close count. That's really all we need. The last thing I want to mention while I'm up here is, I had the pleasure, as did a couple of the board members, I think, of attending our fire department's open house yesterday. It went on from 11 a.m. I think the guys finally got over there about 4 o'clock. But I want to just make a special note this year. With the changes in the department and then our assistant chief having a pre-planned vacation, it really fell on Captain Tromley and Sergeant Ron Goss to put on the open house this year, and they just did a tremendous job. We all have great reason to be proud of both of these guys and the job they did getting that done and getting that pulled off yesterday. So thanks to them all. Thanks to the fire department. So that's it. That's all I got.
All I got. Thank you, Jeff. The cost of the flu shots, is there one?
Yeah. Oh, great question. So if a person has Medicare or any of the Medicare private plans, so your Blue Cross Medicare, things like that, there's no cost. Medicare covers it. For everybody else, it's $20. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anything else? Anything from the board?
Nothing. I will make a motion that we adjourn at 6:57 p.m.
Second.
We have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.